Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us as we bring you our second video of the day, as Von Miller has been linked to the Seattle Seahawks by none other than former Seahawks and Washington quarterback Brock Huard. We'll show you what Brock Huard had to say coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are celebrating the greatest country on planet Earth this weekend. It is the 4th of July tomorrow. I love America. I know you love America, and I want you to show up and show out for the Stars and Stripes. If you love the great USFA, be like me. Hit the like button on today's video. Let's get at least 500 likes and get this Independence Day weekend started on the right note. Hit that like button. We'll get started with today's show. Von Miller, could he be on his way to Seattle? He has had a fantastic career in the National Football League. He is well on his way to Canton someday. And here we are. It is the month of July. Free agency still going on, and Von Miller still finds himself without a home at this point. So what about the idea of potentially bringing him to the Seahawks? Here's more from Brock Huard of Seattle Sports Radio saying the following. You're not going to count out Miller in any way to be a three-down player. Count on. But as a specialist, depending on Seattle's edge rusher health through training camp and what they all look like, he would be kind of the guy out of those 17 of the remaining free agents. He'd be the one I think they've done their homework on. They've kicked their tires on it a little bit. I think, honestly, this is a great idea if you're the Seattle Seahawks, if you could potentially bring Von Miller in. And for me, I look at it this way. Is it the priority? Is it your number one objective when it comes to addressing this edge rusher situation? No. But let's say that you are not going to spend big. If you are not going to go get a Trey Hendrickson or a TJ Watt, which at this point in time is unlikely. I think that all of us would be thrilled if either one of those two things happened. But both of those guys still have contract situations to play out. And then if they do hit the trade market, it's going to be very competitive to get both of those guys as far as that goes. So if you aren't going to spend big on a Trey Hendrickson or a TJ Watt and you settle for a Von Miller, you can still get an impact player at that position. Is he as good as the other two? Absolutely not. But he still has plenty left to offer. And the thing that I love most about Von Miller, he's a winner. He knows how to get the job done. He's done it with multiple teams. He's played at an extremely high level and been one of the very best of the best. And even if the production isn't going to be what he was a few years ago, and it won't be, I think he'd still be very good, though. That's a guy I want in my locker room that can be a great example to that defense. And we've seen some pretty good leaders already when you talk about Jaron Reed and Ernest Jones and Devin Witherspoon, Julian Love, among others here. Well, then you add him to that mix with some young cats like Boye, Mafe, and Derek Hall. Then we're cooking with bacon grease and really getting the most out of everybody if you were to bring in Von Miller into the equation there. Your chance to be the GM here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Should Seattle sign Von Miller? You got two options here. Type S for sign, P for pass. Way in the comments section, let us know which way you lean towards. Folks, want to make sure you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today as we're bringing you the latest happenings on your favorite team each and every day with our news and rumors. We also have live shows 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We also are bringing you Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. Your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. I want to get at least 20 new subscribers off of today's video. It's the place to be, folks. We have a hell of a time around here. The only thing missing is you. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. More on Von Miller. The resume is fantastic, folks. We don't even have enough room to put everything on the screen. It's that good. A 3-time first-team All-Pro, an 8-time Pro Bowler, a member of the NFL's 2010s All-Decade team. Not only has he won 2 Super Bowls, he was also the Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 50, most recently with the Buffalo Bills, prior to that with the LA Rams, and he began his career with the Denver Broncos. Now, nobody is going to be fooling themselves here thinking they are getting the Von Miller from 5 or 6 years ago. He's not what he used to be. But that doesn't mean he all of a sudden doesn't have value of sorts. He is still really good, folks. And last year we saw in Buffalo his role changed a bit, where he wasn't asked to do nearly as much. But what he was asked to do, he still did a very good job of. Let's show you some of the statistics that we're talking about here. You go back to 2021, that year that he was brought in with the Los Angeles Rams when they won a Super Bowl. He ended that season with 9.5 sacks, 17 QB hits, and a forced fumble. Goes to Buffalo, and in 12 games played at 8 sacks. 2023 was a down year for him, 12 games, but no sacks. And then last year, in the reduced role, he still was able to manage 6 sacks, 8 QB hits, 7 TFLs, and 17 tackles last season, as you can see by the numbers on your screen, looking more in depth to what he did in 2024. So even with less snaps, still was a valuable piece to that Buffalo Bills team. And bringing him to Seattle, he's not going to be an every down guy, all right? But that's okay. I look at Von Miller, it's been a Hall of Fame career for Von Miller. He has been one of the best defensive players I've ever seen. But when I look at Von Miller, of what he's been doing over the last few years, you get the ring in Denver in the Super Bowl MVP. You get the ring in Los Angeles with the Rams. And then you go to Buffalo, and you're thinking, all right, I'm going to play with Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. And I'm a part of this Bills team that has a real chance in the AFC. And it didn't happen for whatever reason. And I think for Von Miller, there is some unfinished business here that he is looking to achieve. And although the Seahawks are not thought of, at least right now anyway, to be a Super Bowl contending team, you look at this defense of how well it stacks up. Most people projecting to be a top 5 or top 10 defense in 2025. You add Von Miller to the mix, it elevates things, and maybe the discussion potentially changes, and you give him the opportunity to finish that unfinished business. Another thing I'll add, too, on this whole idea with Von Miller, we've mentioned this many times on this program over the last year plus that Mike Macdonald has been the Seahawks head coach. No one has a better track record in the NFL with older pass rushers and getting the absolute most out of them than Mike Macdonald. When you talk about what he did with Justin Houston, Jason Pierre-Paul, Kyle Van Noy, Davian Clowney, all those guys on relatively cheap contracts towards the end of their careers, and they found the fountain of youth, and they maximized their capabilities with Mike Macdonald. I have every reason to think that he can do the same exact thing with an older Von Miller at this point in his career. Who's a free agent the Seahawks should sign? Whether it's Von Miller, maybe you're thinking offensive guard, maybe you're thinking another edge rusher potentially. Who's somebody that comes to mind? Weigh in the comment section and tell me what you think. Got a great deal we're offering Seahawks fans right now. The Nike Seahawks t-shirt is on sale for just $15.99. That is a hell of a deal, if I'd say so myself, my friends. It's Nike, it's your Seahawks, and it's a t-shirt. Perfect for this time of year. You can get yours now at chatsports.com/SeahawksT. We have all sorts of different shapes and sizes available. We have also other Seahawks merchandise at that same link. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT to get yours today. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. When I look at where Seattle is at right now, there's a need for one more pass rusher, I feel. All right? I think that you look at what Seattle has to offer, and we'll go over the list of players that they have when it comes to edge rushers. It's a pretty solid group, but there are serious age and health issues when it comes to this group. And you know exactly who I'm talking about. DeMarcus Lawrence played just 4 games last year. Uchenna and Nwosu, we've barely seen on the football field the last 2 seasons. If you lose both those guys, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, then you're stuck with just Boye, Mafe, and Derek Hall, who are good in their own right, but then you're all of a sudden lacking depth. If you're Seattle here, I think you need to prepare for the worst if something happens, because in all likelihood, it very well could happen of being short one of those guys potentially. Here's the option Seattle has at the edge rusher spots right now. DeMarcus Lawrence, Derek Hall, Tyreek Smith, Jared Ivey, Jalen Gaines. I'm not expecting much out of Smith, Ivey, and Gaines. Lawrence and Hall will be your main dogs there. And then you go to the other side. Nwosu, big health concerns. Boye Mafe, we've seen him play really well, and then times that he's faded. He's been inconsistent. Jamie Sheriff was a preseason hero not too long ago. And then Seth Coleman and Connor O'Toole, they won't make the roster. Put it simply, you can't have too many pass rushers. It is better to have more than it is to have less. And you add Von Miller in here, you're talking about strength in numbers with this group. And all of a sudden, you feel really good. And you're prepared now, if you were to lose one of these guys, that you have plenty of options to work with. And if you are healthy, with all 5 of those guys, by the end of the season, you're going to be giving offenses some serious fits. I think it would be a home run move to sign Von Miller, and I don't think you're going to have to pay him a ton at this point in his career either. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Seattle Seahawks Today.